hate it, we love it. We hate it and love it again. Yes, it's Warcraft, and we're here to talk about it. Welcome to the WoW Reckoning Hour. Hello, fellow gamers, and Happy New Year. My name is Leonard, and I am your host of the show. Before we get into everything, I would like to introduce my co-hosts. So first up, we have Sam. Hey, Sam, how are you doing today?
I am super good today. I just ate a bunch of cookies, and I feel awesome.
That's great. Did you get any New Year's resolutions that you're looking forward to not giving up on?
Yeah, I totally set them for actually this Monday coming. I need to get my butt back into the gym. Hopefully I can keep that going like every day. That would be awesome. But that's the only one because that one's hard enough.
Yeah, definitely. And that's be joining the masses that are out there. I'll just be trying to run some more. I kind of feel like a sheep. Yeah. And we have our other co-host here, as well as Tom. So, hey, Tom, how are you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, brother. How about you? Any New Year's resolutions that you set to hopefully not fail?
I try to keep my mind set on going to the gym, but I know it'll never happen. So my resolution is just to have fun.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely good just to say, hey, I'm gonna have fun this year, and then I can move from that. And so you can turn any bad day into a good day, and you still be hitting your resolution.
I can call you every day if that makes it better for you, drama. Just be like, hey, let's go to the gym, bro. We can do it on FaceTime.
I'm too busy for all that.
Oh my god.
So I mean,
you talk me into it.
A motivator on how you're gonna move towards anything.
Who, me?
Oh, that's what he was saying.
Oh, like how I would motivate him to go?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's probably numerous ways, but I don't think my husband would appreciate any of them.
All right, so I do want to see, like, how are y'all feeling towards WoW right now?
I'm a firm WoW lover, so I'm also a grinder, so I'm enjoying this expansion so far. It's fun for me. I find it extremely relaxing to quest, so it works for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say exactly the same way. I don't mind grinding as long as I'm progressing towards a goal. But once I hit, an exalted reputation with something or whatever, it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm like, achievement earned, I'm good. Next.
Right. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling it pretty good. It's going good, but the hardcore gamer in me wants to grind every single thing out there, but I just don't have the time for it. So I have to get stuck on doing World Quest every day.
I'm really loving the the prestige levels, because I'm not having to grind, like just go into PvP, and I've never even enjoyed PvP in past expansions. This is like the first ever WoW playing time that I'm like, yeah, I enjoy it and I like going to prestige. So that's been a very exciting part. Outside of the World Quest and stuff, that has kind of changed it for me a little bit.
I love the fact that you can kill other horde now. I think that's great because there's always that one guy that you just are like, man, I wish I could kill you. Like, you hate him. He's in your faction, but you hate him.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many of those.
I know. It's great. And then when they get set, like the mad, like when it's just like, you mad, bro, and they are, and and it's just like, I've won something.
Yeah, definitely.
I try to sneak in on Leonard every once in a while.
I figured.
I get a couple of guildies that do that to me. And got one Tom here, and then my best friend as well. He's they're sneaky Pete's.
I remember Murloc Freedom Day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a nice change to things, and it's nice to see that. Essentially, WoW's been a hit or miss, and I played all the expansions. I've done all that. Played for a couple months. However long the expansion, when it's kind of relevant, and it kind of falls off. Nothing has kept my attention since Wrath of Lich King. So all these years that have gone past, it's like I go in the beginning, and then I'm just waiting for the next expansion, logging in, super hardcore casual, just because it's there's nothing to do. So I feel like they're on a right track right now. It's feeling really good.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, I started playing at the very, very beginning of Lich King, so I never got to experience really like the old content. But I agree with you. Like, I never even came back to play Pandaria, and then when they released Draenor, I was like, oh, Garrison, super fun, and I like the whole thing, and I really like the idea because again, I'm a grinder and an achiever, so it makes sense to me. But I kind of lost interest in it, like when I ran out of things to do. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of those aspects that the garrison became the main city. Like no one left their garrison. It was that was your home. That was your everything. Because you can do everything. For you to go to a main city, it was like pointless because you didn't need to. I enjoyed the
Which
aspect
kind
of
of
it.
yeah, like, but I feel like it kind of maybe took the community out of WoW, which is like a huge important thing.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I like about the order halls. It's kind of gives you a little bit of like of your other classes, or not other classes, sorry, your other players community of your own class. And then but it only has a few things, and then you set up, you do some stuff in there, you hang out maybe for a little bit, and then you head out and go do world quests, go into Dalaran, and you know enjoy like everyone else that's out there and not just by yourselves.
Speaking of that, you know what I really like is that, like, and I can't remember if they brought it in Draenor or not because, like I said, I didn't play. But the fact that you can go now and like meet up with people through the like find a group system, and it allows you the opportunity to be able to do quests maybe you weren't able to do before. Because I'm sure we all remember the chill mall thing where everyone's like, "Oh my god, I'm waiting. I need somebody to help me kill him," and either he was already dead or nobody wanted to group with you.
Yeah, definitely. Like going into, and like when I still laugh today when I see people that are going into general or any chat channel, and they're like looking for more, and it's like, dude, use the tools, man, because it's there and it's way easier.
Yeah, they like I give them total bonus points for that. Blizzard did awesome with that. I'm loving the new system like that.
Yeah, it's been it's definitely made everything a lot easier to move into. Now, one thing that I find that they are failing on is the RNG. Because RNG has always been there. I'm not going to say that it's not. I mean, obviously that's the biggest part about this game. But the way the RNG is sitting now is over the top. It goes into, like, if you go get a piece of gear, like say a world quest, and you get a random, so you get your legendary, you get a legendary X piece. And then say you're 810, you get a 910 piece. Now you're up there, you're 850, and things like that. But you keep seeing, like, when you go into dungeons, or even when you do a world quest, you can get an item, and it's just not upgrading the pieces that you need to that are lower eye level. It keeps upgrading the pieces that you already have at a good level. You're trying to fix in some relic spots. Maybe you have a 789 piece, and this is pretty early on. Obviously, we've upgraded a lot of things, but just in a general state is that the RNG in this has just become something that it's way more complicated than I think that it should be from how it used to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look at how many of our guildies are kind of struggling with that. And the funny thing is I didn't notice it when I was leveling Brookz, my paladin. I only started noticing it when I had gotten my priest to 110, and I got my first piece of good gear off of the world boss, and then they were gloves, and then all I kept getting were gloves, and I'm like, this is not helping me. I need different pieces.
Yeah, most definitely, and when you're looking into it, like, and how RNG used to be, like, we've all been there, right? So it's kind of like we knew this boss dropped this piece, and you keep hitting on it, and then he might not drop it, but if he does drop it, great, then it gets distributed out, type kind of thing. I do like the personal loot aspect of things, but you knew where you had a goal in a person that you were looking for to taken down and things of that nature. And now it's just everything is so random, and you can get random upgrades to a piece of gear, and then now when you can go into that boss, well, now we're only, like, say we're doing an X boss on heroic. Well, for me to get the piece that can actually replace my the best piece I want to actually replace that piece, I need to go in and kill that boss on mythic. Maybe we're not at mythic level, or so on and so forth. And so it kind of makes it hard, where it's nice to get these random Titan Forged upgrades and stuff like that from world quests and things of that nature, even from just doing the dungeon on heroic and things of that nature. But it can almost take you out of contention of trying to get that upgrade that you need. It's kind of like, kind of like where the RNG is sitting now. It's just kind of, I don't know. I think it needs to be improved a ton.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't been struggling with that gear, but I know that there's a lot of people that have, and I know to myself that one of the things that I liked most about the loot system when I first started playing WoW was the fact that you had that token system. You had that ability to be able to bust your butt in there with whoever, and if you got lucky enough to get that token, it was like the crowning moment of your achievement that day. Like, yes, I got my chest piece or my helmet, and it was shiny and beautiful, and you wanted to show it off all around Dalaran, and it was something that made you feel awesome. And I feel like now when you're going in there, like we go in there and we're in EN and we're killing our heroic bosses and we're all like using our extra rolls, and what are we using them for? We're using them to like hopefully maybe, get that 880 piece or that, 865 or 875, the piece exactly that we have in our inventory or that we're wearing, but just a higher roll or a higher item level.
Yeah, definitely using.
I just use it for gold.
Yep.
You're bored. I'm just rolling for the fun of it. Which is like the next point too, right? Because we can't trade them. If we get them and we can't use them, well, that's a roll going to waste, and we can't trade them with the people who could.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, for one, the coins are just like me. I feel like going to like just put a coin in a slot machine, pulled it once, and was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for taking my coin."
Yay! I'm a winner. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that that's one. It's definitely one thing on the RNG and stuff like that I could see that it could be an easy fix. It just allows, like, it's my bonus roll. I earned that. Like, I took the time. I got the order resources, or I got, farm for some gold. Obviously, all these little things are a lot easier with all the world quests, but I'm still spinning that, and this is mine. So if I win, just like if I was to win something by like a slot machine and win money, no one can say, well, that's your money. You can't give it to anybody else. No, actually, I can do whatever I want with it, and I think that should happen with the coins. It's not like, I don't think it's going to inundate the system in a way where everyone roll on this because we need to get some people this gear and we just need to give it to them or whatever. And I don't think that a coin should make it only yours. I think you should still be able to trade, especially if people on your same, like in your guild on the same server and things of that nature.
Like, we used to do that when we were raiding before and all other expansions. Like, you would get to the point where you were so geared, and if you even say you had to pug some people, or you went into your guild did 10 man and you pugged out 25 men, and you would take 5 people in there because 2 of you needed whatever that item may be, and you all used to roll together on the item. So it was kind of like, you were in it together, and that's how guilds are anyway. So why should this make it any different? Why should this expansion be different? If you're going in there, it's your bonus roll, you roll on it. And 2, even if it's not your bonus roll, you can't trade it even if you don't want it, and your item level is lower.
Yeah. Like, only thing I can think of is that what they're trying to do is fixing maybe some of these farming groups. To me, I don't even know why there still exists, but you see these people that are like gold farmers and all these things out there trying to provide people with a service and things of that nature. I understand why it potentially is there, but I don't like it's your choice. It's your gear. Like, if it's an upgrade or not an upgrade, I'm not gonna trade something out if it's the 5 item levels upgrade, and I'm gonna be like hurting some of the other aspects of the stats that are on that piece of gear. I get partially why, but for the biggest fixes on this stuff, I think they can remove it and just allow you to trade it.
For the most part, I think they got gear like down a little bit, but it lets you like work towards something. I think, in a sense, like if you want to go out for World Quest or whatever, there's always that chance, and that the hardcore gamer inside of everybody, that's what they want. They want the chance. They don't want it automatically given to them. They want it to come with like effort and attempts and tries, and just not right away, bam.
Yeah, I mean, I get that part. When you're looking at a piece, and if you can help out, especially guildies and things like that, I want to have the option. And I think that it could be a fix. It could be something simple. I think they should be able to fix into that.
I agree.
I think I'm just stuck in the vanilla mindset. It was definitely a lot more fun having 40 people just go on there and wreck some stuff.
Yeah. Which kind of goes into, like, there's so many issues with secondary stats that are pushing into, so, I mean, it kind of goes in, like, so you get that piece of gear, and then it has, like, the worst secondary stats. And so I'm not really understanding on, like, when it's upgrading pieces. So, I mean, I get, like, an 890 piece of gear, and obviously it was replaced. I got a really good Titan Warforged, and it replaced, you know, like an 860 piece, and which is great. But now I have this 890 replacement that has like my worst secondary stats that I'm just sitting there with. And obviously we don't need everything to have, you know, obviously our best secondary stats on there, and things of that nature, or it would totally offset some of your other secondary stats that might be lower on the totem pole. But the secondary stats, I mean, when you get a piece upgraded, so now I have a 30 level eye level upgrade. And so at that point, even if I would need an 885 piece to make me even want to think about replacing that 890 just because of secondary stats.
I mean, I think they should bring reforging back. I'm a firm believer in the reforge situation there. I love that, especially when Mastery first dropped for Paladins, and now it's just like a battle for haste for me. So I keep getting pieces with versatility on them. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I feel like I'm the most versatile class on the planet as it is, so why do I need more of that? Thank you.
Just give it to my warrior. I'll take it.
I wish I could, but most of the time I can't trade it to you because of the crappy RNG.
Yeah. Yay, coin.
Yeah, I mean, I like the aspect of reforging, but I understand why they got rid of it. I mean, reforging became, I mean, honestly, we didn't do, there was few people out there, and I'll be honest, I love math, but I didn't do that math. That's retarded amount of math that you would have to do just to do it on your own. And so, I mean, everyone went to like Mr. Robot and things like that actually helped you figure out, hey, reforge this piece and this piece and this piece, and it just become this, like, now I get this piece of gear. And I know that was one of the biggest things they wanted to change was, like, you're in a raid, and you're going through that process, and then you actually get to do, like, I got my upgrade, or I got this piece I've been looking for. You know, when they had reforging, you'd be like, I'm just gonna leave it in my bag because I need to go back to town. I'm gonna put it on, and then you put the gems in there I need to have in there because if it had gem slots, and then I have to go reforge all my gear, and now I can use it. And what they want is like that instant, like, boom, I got that piece. You can equip it right now, and then you can go in. The
instant gratification of it.
Right.
I get it. I mean, I like it too. I like that a lot too. But I also, maybe it's a paladin struggle. I don't know, but it's always like that 20 is either. I forgot what it used to have to be before they changed the stats. I'll have to go quickly and remember it. But now it's just like a haste struggle for me. What was that stat? You guys know the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of it. What was that?
Was it hit? It was hit. Yeah, you had to have the percentage of hit rating first. You had to stack that in there before you could even think about using anything else.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was the biggest. Everyone would be sit there knowing where their soft cap, and it was it like 20%? I don't know. I think every spec and every class, whatever, was a little bit different on that percentage. It was anywhere from 15 to 20, I believe. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but I remember. I don't know how I could forget it after chasing after it for so long, but.
Because we're happy that they got rid of it. Like, I can hit things.
Yeah. But we just, I guess with Blizzard, it's always kind of like they get rid of some things that really bother you, and then they bring some stuff in, and you're kind of like, hey, this is almost exactly what it was before, except for it's called something different.
Right.
Yeah. We love you, Blizzard, though. We love you.
Yeah,
don't get us wrong.
Definitely. Please keep going the way you're going right now, because the way you are going right now is something that is over the top. Like, WoW's back, and so, but I mean, here's obviously you're gonna have things that are going to have issues, and Blizzard's talked about their secondary stats and stuff have been something that is they didn't expect for them to turn out the way they did, because mainly is because of all of your jewelry. So like your rings and trinkets and I think trinkets are fine, but the rings and necklace and stuff like that don't have any of your primary stats on there. They just come with your secondary stats. And so they're trying to, like, that was like a way for them to fix onto certain things within it. Then you have some classes that are kind of exploiting the secondary stat stuff. That's really not working.
Yeah. Yeah, you have different classes, like, but you have to kind of give it to them a little bit because they figure these things out. Like the Demon Hunter Mastery thing at the very beginning of the expansion there with the tank.
Right.
That was kind of interesting. But you have to give it to them for coming up with this crazy notion and then making it work for themselves. But I get it.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's okay that, I mean, we obviously know it's not going to have like perfect result in the first try. We know we have to go through this process and kind of ease into things and to move into how we want to roll through stuff. But and I think obviously we know that we got a patch coming, and then so we'll be able to delve into all those things and all those changes next week when we get to that point. But we definitely know we want to see where that's at. But so trying to go into secondary stats at this point, like we definitely know like some fixes. Like just a quick example of that would be, say, the marksman hunter, right? And I know I talk about this a lot because it doesn't, like, to me it's insulting to see that a secondary stat is more important than a primary stat. On any marksman hunter, you have agility, which is your primary stat, as any of the, like, just like a rogue or so on and so forth, is like his third specialty. Like, no, that's your primary stat. Primary stats should always be number one, and then everything else follows.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you on this one. I actually was kind of thinking to myself, how can you be offended? But then I was like, you know what? I'm offended because strength used to be where it's at, and now it's not. It's like I said, you have to get haste capped, and then you have to make sure that your crit is capped, and then you have to make sure that it's like, I get it. I understand these are all important things when you're trying to DPS your little heart out, but at the same time, what happened to our primary stat? Like, what happened? Where did it go? These other stats were made to complement our primary stat, not become a hindrance to our primary stat.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like when you're pushing that and you're like, you should have to have, agility. I mean, it's kind of going back into how WoW used to be. If you look at how certain things, like in BC, am I right? BC is when, it's when they introduced drill crafting. And like for certain classes, I mean, all you did, like, you had a gym slot, yep, you're putting, like, say for hunter, you're putting agility in there. Like, you wouldn't put in, like, the gear can take care of your other stats, but if you're able to bump your one stat that you can bump, you're just setting all those agility gems in there, because that's where all your main DPS, because that's your primary stat that's going to be boosting all of your DPS.
Every single enchant and gem slot on all of my equipment right now is haste. That is it, and I am still not at 21%. So it's getting a little bit out of control for me at this point.
Yeah, and I have a prot paladin, and I have the same thing. Haste is my number one. It's like, hey, where's strength? Like, where's these things that
stamina.
Instead, I'm followed it with it's haste and versatility, so that's cool. So it kind of makes sense, but like I guess the haste is so I hit quicker, and I'm able to do different things, but like I don't see that as a primary. I know paladins fall into a different role, but no, I mean, like, it kind of goes away, like, because you feel like when you're playing a warrior, you have strength, right? When you're playing a paladin, I mean, yes, strength is there for how hard you're hitting, but as your stats wise, I mean, the only thing they talk about is just like what you're doing, Brookz, like haste. Get the haste on there.
Well, the haste, in a sense, on the tank is just so your mitigation abilities just respawn faster. Like,
right.
Ignore pain on a warrior and all that. That's a huge shield for a single hit.
Right.
Yeah.
That being up all the time is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I mean, haste is good for, like, I would think for a hunter, haste would be like the bomb for you because it just means you shoot faster, which is great for me because then when I might you give me more DPS. But maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely right onto that, but we'll see how next week goes. I mean, it's the only thing I can go into that because I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with some of these secondary stat changes. I think there's a lot of people that will look at Ret Paladins and wondering how people are doing better than others and things of that nature. And I think it's centered around the might, but I keep hearing these rumblings. I think might's going away. I don't.
No. Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I couldn't be happier. If they do take it, if it does happen, it would be like Christmas in January.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I mean, honestly, it's like it's a great aspect, but I mean, even I think Ian has even said that they were trying to go for like this Ret Paladin with this kind of like shaman feel to it, and they felt really cool about it. But they're looking like they're going to be getting a total revamp. I don't think we're going to be seeing in any patch that we're going to be getting anytime soon, but probably like a 7.2 will probably be finally ready for an entire revamp. So they're trying to probably put a band-aid on this issue they're having with Ret Paladins right now.
I feel like they've been like, I feel like we're Frankenstein, honestly, Ret Paladins, and I've been playing Ret Paladin the entire time that I've played World of Warcraft. So I am a die-hard Blood Elf Ret Paladin, and I take offense to all people who say Blood Elves suck. But the point is I feel like we've been Frankenstein. We've been ripped apart a million times and put back together. And sometimes they want us to be rogues, and sometimes they want us to be tanks, and sometimes they want us to be shamans. And then they take away our how much mana we get, and then we can't heal ourselves. And it's okay because I feel like it makes us very versatile. And as a Ret Paladin player, you can do a whole bunch of cool things that most people can't do, or you're just used to being really bad until you get the gear, whatever the situation may be. But I just think that they need maybe to come up with a way to just make us the actual Ret Paladins, whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, they can go in so many different aspects of what a lot of people will say. This is a Ret Paladin. This is how it should be. But it's awesome that because how you feel about paladins is how I feel about hunter. And like that, I mean, this is what I want to play, and this is what I like playing, and that goes into there's an aspect of this game that I feel like that a lot of people are missing out on, and it really needs to be focused on what you want to play. And when it becomes something you want to play, you can actually make it better. Because keep in mind that everyone goes to Icy Veins and looks at these stat priorities, or looking at the DPS, and here's your rotation that you should always be following, and so on and so forth. Keep in mind those are like the best of the best of the best, and the best gear and things of that nature, and not missing any part of a rotation and things like that. So those numbers can get skewed by just ability of your ability. And so a lot of times I want people to realize that if you find something out there that you want to have, that you enjoy playing because you like not only the class but the spec that you're playing, then roll with it. Screw everyone else and what everyone else is saying out there, because I guarantee you, if you're out there and you're actually pushing everything you possibly can to make it good and enjoy what you're doing, then only thing you can do is you fly. You feel it, you love it, you improve it. And you might not always be number one DPS, but I guarantee you're going to be in the top 5 of all these people that are following some rotation and things like that, because this game, and especially how they've moved it, is not to be out there. Just because you're not number 1 doesn't mean that you don't get brought into raids. Your guild's going to need you if you're top 5. Every time they're going to expect you to show up. Or even if everyone's the same amount of gear, everyone's flying in your guild, then they're going to still want you because you have everyone there. It's going to be consistent. You're going to be killing bosses, because no one walks into a raid today and says, well, we can't do this boss because, Joe Schmo isn't here. Because, he does 80 bajillion damage, and we all sit here with 100,000 damage per second. It doesn't happen that way. There's no way it can happen that way. And that's why, it goes into a whole aspect that I need people to realize, is that find something you want to play, because finding what you want to play is more important than what Icy Vein says. Yeah, you can go there to get some help, like, man, why am I missing, I should be getting, how can I up my DPS a little bit, and things like that. And so maybe there's something you're focused on that you're not supposed to be focused on, but the whole aspect is learning how to play and learning the versatility of that spec, of not only the class but the spec. And so, going through that process is you got to feel it, you got to love it, you got to improve it. So you just got to fly on.
Yeah. Find your wings, guys.
I've been flying for 10 years now.
Yeah. That's the funny thing, because, there is a lot. I'll tell you a quick story about this shenanigan. So, being as I am a Ret Paladin and all, and I have mastered that, I'm amazing for anyone listening. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, but it works for me.
We helped you with your might, so you can.
I
Like,
know. I can. Yes, we can. Thanks, Obama. Uh, we no, okay, so yesterday I have a disc freeze too, which I everyone's like disc freeze suck, and I'm all like, this is so much fun. I'm in love with this. I just want to keep doing this. And then I got discouraged, and then I went to shadow, and I was like, I can't heal anything. This is too hard. So then I went back to disc, and I'm like, this is awesome. And I went in yesterday to my very first heroic on looking for group there, looking for whatever the heck it's called anymore. I don't even know. To get my first heroic dungeon healing. And I got the most horrible people in the world in that group who had no idea what it feels like or what it's like to heal as a disc priest. They are used to have whoever else, like whatever, holy, having a shaman, having a monk, having a holy paladin, whatever. But they didn't understand the fact that as a disc priest, you have to be able to damage to heal. So healing is not actually what you're doing. You're putting atonement on everyone and then damaging to heal. And they're like, I wish you would just heal. I'm like, you're not dying. I'm healing you. Like, and they kicked me out. And it was so disheartening to me because people don't understand. Like, it was horrible. I almost wanted to cry. It was bad.
yeah, I definitely feel like, and going back into like the same thing with the the next patch that's coming and stuff like that with some fixes and things of that nature. But hey, anybody listening today, mainly this priest don't have an oh shit moment, like oh crap, let's do this. Like
every moment is that. Every moment.
But I mean, what I mean, like you don't have like an oh shit heal, like boom, got to heal and done, and then you move forward, not like a lay on hands or anything like a 1 minute cooldown type kind of thing. And yeah, you have some little variances and things like that, but it's all mattering on your DPS. So I think it's great for leveling, and you're moving it up through the levels. It helps you go through faster on that process. And but going into the groups, it's like it seems like you fall off, and then I don't know yet, but I think that like when a disc priest is like 8, I would say like 830 and above, then it's like cakewalk. I don't know yet though, because I haven't seen any of them out there that much. I mean, we have one that's in our guild that is an alt that Death runs on, and so I mean,
yeah.
But he's even gone into raids, and he's like, I would like to see some fixes because like don't bring these into raids because they just don't have it. Like there's not enough time.
It's rough. Like I mean, it's all about that because honestly, even if you're a healer or just a pro healer, which I'm clearly not, I mean, it's a stressful thing, especially if you're not I'm not a healer, I'm a red paladin. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that by now, but I thought it would be fun to try something else. And I'm like, and when I was in normals, I was like, hey, look at me, I'm doing really good. And I'm like, all proud of myself. I'm telling my husband, I'm like, hey, look at him, so good. And I'd made drama take me and all these things. And then, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like, you like psych yourself up for like 2 days. Okay, I can do this. I can go in and I can heal this. Because you're afraid that people are going to like kick you out. And then the worst thing happens. And it's like, just have some patience, people. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. It's all right if you die.
The change was a little bit too soon for them.
Yeah, I think there was. He goes, I mean, I think that a lot of people just don't realize how a lot of classes play. I mean, like a monk tank. Like, people need to realize that most of the time they're going to be around 3/4 to half health. Like, it's not because they suck. It's because that's when everything is kicking in for them. Like, that's kind of where they feel comfortable. And then they become basically unkillable unless the entire, group dies. So people just need to realize that it's not like, well, my tank needs to be at full health at all time. Well, you're kind of just wasting mana then if you have a monk tank. You're wasting mana on him. Like, make sure everyone else is up and doing whatever. So I mean,
people really, they need to stop tunnel visioning, and they need to go and start to explore what's out there so that they have a better understanding. Like, if your whole thing is, I'm gonna run, even if you don't raid, I'm gonna run mythic pluses until I fall flat on my face onto my keyboard. Well, if you're going to do that, then you might want to go take a look at what some other classes have and how versatile they are or what they can bring to the table before you start making these groups and running in there. And then, everyone's wiping and you're really angry and you're raging. And the reason is because you didn't take the time to actually just kind of 5 minutes to go read something else. Go figure something else out about another class so you understand. because it
Not-
drives players away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of tunnel vision entirely on the whole monk tank thing. I have not seen one the entire time I've been back.
That's because people keep saying that they suck, and they don't suck. It's just a different play style. It's just a different way. Like people, and then people say, "Oh, well, monk tank sucks." So then you get into the situation where people don't want to play monk tanks because they feel like no one's going to let them play.
They don't suck. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing is, and you know, it's all about the fly initiative. You know, I mean, just if you like it, play it, and if you're good at it, then great. But you can always improve, and that's it. You just improve it. If you find the class, and that's what I love where the game is sitting right now, because I mean everything here is about what you want to play, and like Icy Veins is to give you direction. It remove you from like this huge like cone of where do I go. It kind of tunnels you down a little bit, kind of gives you a little bit of direction, but really everything, you don't go in there and be like, well, how do I spec to do things? Because I mean we know that those are things that I know Ian has said, like say for like rogues, I know the what's it called, there's one of their spec, like right now everyone does roll of bones, and I think it's called like blade I don't know, I can't remember.
Is that what that dice thing is?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
So everyone
Every time.
yeah, everyone goes to that because it's literally like playing a lottery. You don't know what's gonna go, but hey, if you get all your right rolls, and like there's a lot of stuff that they're juggling for an outlaw into that. But so when they're doing that, like if they get like all the right rolls, or at least majority of the right rolls, then they're doing great DPS. And there's times you've seen a rogue fall off because they didn't get the right rolls. And so they're going into, I can't remember the other one, and so Sambat or whatever, but it's called like Blade something, but no one picks it. So I know potentially they're looking at like making that better, buffing it so it's more consistent. Like if you want to be a consistent player and you're consistent at your DPS and not have burst times, you go there, or you're gonna basically roll the bones. Like you're gonna roll the dice to see if you can be bursting in DPS or not.
I can't appreciate though. I can't appreciate it because if you look at any class's talent tree, there are numerous ways that you can play. And just because AC Vane says, like, and I can say this flat out to you, when I came back for Legion and I was doing this thing and I was leveling, I was putting my stats in. Like I would take a look at Icy Veins and then I was putting my stats in kind of based upon leveling up, because you're leveling, you're struggling. Like, I mean, I'm sure tanks didn't, but I did. I struggled a little bit leveling up. So I was trying to like do the best I could for myself, and I kind of just left my build the same. And then when I started going into dungeons with like some of our guildies, nobody could really, and this is before Snipe came out with the whole quick might on people before you saved my DPS. So we'll clap a little bit for you. But it was actually Stinkle, our holy paladin healer in the guild. He said, like, Sam, why are you not using Zeal, right? Which is like it's a second 30, like level 30 talent. And I was like, well, why would I use that? And he's like, I mean, Icy Vein said to use Fires of Justice or whatever. And he's like, yeah, but they're wrong. So just use Zeal. And the minute that I used Zeal, my DPS increased because I was doing, in those situations, it was better. So it's a matter of like taking initiative on your own, listening to the people that are trying to help you, and then also getting some research done about your class. And you don't have to play it the way that Icy Vein says play it. You can play it whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. Is like you do what you want to, like. We all can learn at all in times, and that's the whole improvement part. And like once you really understand, and you're like, man, this is awesome, this is fun to do. You start looking at it and it's like, why would you not do this, or why would you do that? Because I go into things. I know me and Fade have talked, and we because I've been messing with a holy priest as well and stuff like that, which I don't see in raids. Like I see, like, ooh, we need a druid and blah blah blah. It's like holy priests are freaking amazing. And then, like, I was playing in a certain way, and he's like, well, if you do this, then you have this. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Like, I never even thought of using it that way. But once you understand the class, and you're like, wow, here's that. But that goes into another thing, is that it's supposed to be fun. Like, going in and refixing some talents and like these tomes of retalenting or whatever, because a lot of times it's just like one talent on one row that we need to fix.
Yeah.
I hated that they said right when you walked into Legion, one of the first quests or whatever we got, I mean after our artifact, they said, hey, here's 5 things you can retalent yourself per fight, you know, like, or anything, and it didn't have a thing. But to make those, like, then you go into an inscriptor, it's for everything 98 or 99, I think, 98 or 99 and below. Like, they can't make this tomb of respecking or whatever it's called. So a lot of times we want to, like, as a BM hunter, like, sometimes, like, if we're doing, like, big trash pulls or something like that, I would like to have barrage. But I'm not going to go spend the amount of mats it takes to make one tomb so everyone in the ring can respec for one thing, because it's only me that needs to be able to do it, unless there's something I'm missing from an inscription or something like that I haven't been able to find. But I can't go just respec that one tier thing that says, hey, on this fight or here I want barrage instead of Murder of Crows. And I think
we used to be able to do that. Didn't we used to be able to switch though?
Yeah, but we're not in town. Like, we can do it as long as you're in a rested area or anything like that, but we're in a dungeon, so we have to, like, have this special thing, and it's like, it's not worth it because you use it so often, and they want people to be like, okay, with this fight you can do this, and this fight you can do that. Well, I mean, a lot of times, with me, I love playing BM, so I think I can do a lot more AoE damage if I could just have some of the AoEs, like, for trash and things like that, specs that I want, but I'm not going to sit there and, like, hey, summon me back because I need to go respec, and then we go get to a boss. All right, summon me back. I mean, I should be able just to switch back and forth, and I should be able to, like, get on my inscriptor, and I can make, like, tons of these, like, just like we bring prolonged potions and things like that, just so you can be able to adapt to the bosses where I don't need to change an entire spec, because I think my spec already has some utilities in there that I should be able to bring in, but
you have okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I was kind of like, if I'm thinking to myself, because you need the special thing. I just thought that they were still I didn't realize it was super expensive and super intensive just to get one of those scrolls to switch. Because I never do. Like, I never have to, because pretty much my role, I understand what you're saying, because I've, obviously I was leveling my little hunter, and I could see, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to get those, but I haven't got there yet. I understand, like, because, Murder of Crows would be good, or Barrage would be good, depending upon what you're doing at that moment. So being able to switch without, like, that monetary, like, smackdown would be great.
Right. And, like, Murder of Crows is amazing, but Murder of Crows, like, it has to be put on a bot, like, so it has, like, a minute cooldown, right? And so with this minute cooldown, I can put it on something, and then as soon as I put it on, the cooldown starts rolling, right? But if I kill, or actually it lasts for like 30 seconds or 20 seconds, I can't remember the exact time, but I basically put it on like a mob that's about to die. It does like this just uber amount of damage. It dies, it resets it, so I can just like tab, and well, that goes into like another thing of like, Blizzard, if you're listening, fix tab target. It's ridiculously stupid.
Thank you. Like, are you kidding me? Please. And it was working fine before, right? But it's broken now, because like you used to just only be able to tab targets that were a certain distance from you, and now I'm throwing hammers at people that are halfway down the dungeon. Like, come on.
Right? They're not even
people through the floor.
Right? It doesn't even make sense on why it's like, hey, what about the freaking retards right in front of me? Or like, I could be doing a warden tower or something. I'm like, all right, then I'm gonna tab it, and it tabs to a guy like on the other side. I don't mind bringing another mob because I need it. I'm just like, but what about the retards hitting me right in my face? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I am literally driven insane, because I'm so used to being able to tab target, like, a thing dies, you tab target to the next directly closest tab target, and I'm losing DPS because it's targeting crap that's in the back of the dungeon. Please, Lord, help us. Like, honestly, that's like the one thing that was so easy to fix and help everyone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a coder, but I would like to see, like, it has to be something that could be fixed. And when I hear a lot of people complaining about certain things, honestly, that's like one of the things I don't hear a lot of people complain about. When, like, we all talk about it, but I don't think Blizzard knows that the tab targeting is so horrible.
Oh, they know.
Okay.
How can they not? Oh my god. you know what, I think it's because it's one of those things that it's like a scale of importance, right? So it's like people wanna like complain about something that is, I guess, is more beneficial to them. So like tab targeting is one of those things like you can just live with. Like, you know, when you're married and there's those things that your spouse does that you don't like but you'll just live with. That's one of those things.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not always just like tap targeting to increase my DPS. I mean, for my prop paladin, like I put judgments on people. Obviously, it's a good threat generator, but it also heals me every time I get hit or anything like that. It heals me. So when I'm pulling like mass amounts of mob, like obviously one boss, whatever, it's gonna have one judgment that's easy. But if I'm pulling, I would like to have a judgment on all of them. I wouldn't mind that if it had a little bit longer cooldown. And then if my consecrate goes down, it kind of like if they're standing in my consecrate, they all get it. Because that helps the healer heal me. So a lot of people are like, oh, paladins, they have so much. It's like, no, like me being able to tab target and judgment, like as many of the mobs that we've pulled, was only going to help the healers. And then I have my own little quick kind of self-heal that's up every 10 seconds. That gives me 30% health back of the health that I'm missing and things like that. But to be able to tab target and be able to apply those is what's like, it sucks because it's not tab targeting the people that are freaking standing in front of me. It's tab targeting, like I'm targeting other, like I'm doing a dungeon or something like that. It's tagging the other group. I don't want to bring in the other group. I want to bring in the people that are freaking punching me in the face right now.
You know what, though? I have to say this, and I don't know if you feel the same way because you and Mira are like the ones that do that. So, like, you know, in the scenarios fight, when we have to run around and clear the brambles and stuff and we're all like versatile, I always feel like a king like when we get to do that. Look what we can do. And this is another thing too that's an interesting point for people who have to understand this, because there are certain classes out there, ret paladins, rogues, hunters, and I'm sure like warriors, and I don't know if they took that away from you, that intervene thing. There are all these really cool, neat things that you can do that are going to affect your DPS in a negative way because there's no other option. Like for me, I bubble, I get on my little horsey and I run and clear brambles. You put your little turtle shell on and clear brambles. Like this stops you from DPSing. And we're doing this to save the rest of the group so that as a collective group, we can down that boss. And that's something I think people need to start to understand too, is that you lose DPS when you have to go do those things.
Yes. A lot of people think that I'm number one DPS and then I can do this and I can do that. Like, yeah, but I can be less DPS in this one aspect, but I'm going to mechanics. And a lot of people need to realize that in every raid fight or anything, and I know LFR doesn't really like portray that very well, which it's understandable. It's for people that don't have a lot of time. They can jump on, they can kind of see the content, because honestly, congrats Blizzard, for LFR it's amazing. Like you do a lot of work to create these raids, and you want people to be able to see them, like not just like the 1% and things like how it used to be back in vanilla. So it's a great job on that. But I would like to see a little bit more from LFR, so people are really understanding, like, hey, and honestly, the first LFR I've ever seen where actually people had to pay attention to something was, what was it then? TOV, but before that was the last boss in Pandaria, in the, Throne of Thunder? Am I right? With the
I didn't play the expansion.
Okay, well, like, he had four pillars that you had to move around.
Yeah.
Even in LFR, you had to know what you were doing. Like, you had to have an idea, and then you'd have the people that would, like, start at the very beginning, and they would get killed, or, like, they would just, like, fall off the edge, like, fall off the throne, and they weren't there. I'm not going to say I never did that. Probably maybe a couple of times, because I didn't want to do the fight, because it lasted way too long. But it taught something to people. LFR is supposed to obviously help people. They're maybe trying to, like, they're coming into the game. They're doing these. They're trying to learn some raiding. They're learning some aspects. So I think, like, LFR should be bumped up just a little bit so it doesn't become like a walkthrough. Because the people that are in guilds that are raiding, they're not running that stuff really, unless there's a quest, like, drop off of that stuff. Like if you get an order mission or something like that, you need to kill it. Maybe you're not that far, but you can go in LFR and just jump into, like, scenarios. I mean, obviously we're past scenarios, we're fine on that kind of stuff, but before we were, I get an order mission and be like, well, I'll just go into LFR and just go kill Scenarius by himself. I mean, it's fine, because that's what this quest, or kill Xavius or something like that, because it made it really easy at that point. But I mean, I just think that they need to put a little bit more work into some of these bosses on LFR to help people grow. So when you have these individuals that you're trying to look for a guild and things like that, they understand the simple mechanics, and all they're trying to learn now at that point is what's the difference between normal to heroic or heroic to mythic, you know?
I think with like to add on to what you're saying is that mechanics have always been something that is important in World of Warcraft. Like each encounter has specific mechanics that you need to learn in order to win. And people have lost that. People do not understand mechanics. People stand in things. Like, do you guys remember when you had to do it when you're doing a dragon, whether that was a Nixia or any dragon in the game, you had to stand to the side of the dragon if you were DPS, because if you didn't, you would get tail whipped, you would get breathed on, you would have all these different mechanics that would kill you instantaneously. Does anyone else remember this?
Oh God, yes.
Oh, yes. I'm a day one warrior. I know all about mechanics, stance, and all that.
Oh, the stance dance. Yes.
I remember. That was so hard. I made myself a warrior take once. I have one actually, but and I remember stance dancing. But where did that go? Like, where is it ever okay to stand in front of the face of a dragon, or you don't expect to get tail whipped? And I haven't seen this. Like the new Violet Hold that they brought out, that dragon in there, that boss, she does not tail whip you. You can stand behind her all day long.
Yeah, but it's Violet Hold. I mean, you don't even actually get a tail whip until we go into Mythic Emerald Nightmare from Nathandra. So she doesn't even do a tail whip until Mythic. Like Heroic, she should start doing tail whips. Like,
yeah,
stand on her
this
side.
Is the point.
Why are you standing behind her in her butthole anyways? As a melee, you should be standing on the side anyways. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, that's a huge tail that's back there. Don't be dumb.
Well, you're standing back there for obvious penetration. So.
I mean, that's probably the only reason. Okay, and you know what? And I'm not gonna mention any names, but like we've all had guildies or people that we've run things with, and I actually never really noticed being a melee because I always had my face in something's butt or side or whatever. But when I watch Andre play, my husband play, and you start to notice things about things. Like when I was learning, when people were like teaching me things, they're like, do not stand in front of anything. Don't stand in front, always stand behind, always DPS from behind. Because if you didn't, you used to miss. Do you guys remember?
Oh, yeah.
So it is ingrained in us. Like you guys are super old school, but I guess like I'm old school too, because I started at the beginning of Lich King. So those are things that are ingrained in us, and those are normal helpful things that get you through the certain mechanics of certain things, and that has been lost maybe on the newer generation of people that are playing now because of, and I'm going to say this, because of LFR.
Well, I would think because, I mean, yeah, I would agree with you with some on LFR, but it goes into what you're saying, like, into, like, it's been ingrained into us. So it's been pushing ourselves into this. So usually the people, and honestly, this is really no lie. I mean, yeah, there's been some things and new stuff, but majority of people that are doing, like, Mythic and doing Mythic killing and stuff are usually, like, a good majority, a percentage of that is people that are actually been playing since vanilla. And that's why they bring those aspects into it, giving them, like, hey, you want it hard, and obviously you're going to get better gear and stuff like that, but you want it like this? Boom. Hello, I'm Blizzard, and we're going to give it to you. And so, I mean, I think that's what they're doing with that kind of stuff, and that's why they make those very apparent, where if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, because I mean, especially in Mythics, one person dies because they were retarded. Even Heroic, like, sometimes it's just we can't recover from it. But Mythic, definitely one person dies because they were like, oh, I accidentally stand with them, like, oh, everyone wipe, because it's pointless at this point because we can't move.
You have to give it to Blizzard because they have some fantastic people working for them in all of their departments, because they do understand as the generations kind of flow through their game and what those generations are looking for. So you really have to give it to them for that, because each generation that plays the game are all different in, like, their life experience is brought to the game, and what they expect in life or out of life is brought to the game. So what we expect being, like, what are we even, generation something or other? I don't even know. Like, we are used to hard work, and in order to succeed in life, like, we and I'm going to say it, we weren't given trophies for losing. We were always given trophies for winning, and if you didn't win, then you had to try harder the next time. so when we don't win at something in the game, we don't just like leave because it didn't work out for us. We just keep trying. Whereas other generations of people, you can kind of see that as you progress through different levels of the game. Like LFR is for people who need that instant gratification. You know what I mean? And normal is more like for those people who still need instant gratification but want a little bit of a challenge. And then heroic, you start getting, because heroic is the old normal for us. So like that's kind of like, okay, we're building the challenge,
Yes.
we're working towards mythic. So you can see that level, and you can also see within the guilds that those types of generations are banding together because they want different things or they need different things for the game to be fun for them.
Yeah, most definitely. And so I mean, I love it like that we have Blizzard that is here that is trying to reach out and touch a lot of people, which I think a lot of times, a lot of like, you know, obviously we're going to get a lot of ragers out there and stuff like that look at Blizzard and be like, oh, we do, blah, blah. But I think honestly, a lot of people really need to realize where we're at and what we're doing and what Blizzard has done. And that's what that's essentially everyone here and hopeful, you know, listeners and things like that, is this what we're pushing for this to be, is to be able to move up and move forward with and talk about WoW and go over things and things of that nature. And you know, we want to spend a little bit of time. We'll be able to talk with everyone that's out there today to say, hey, here's who we are. Here's WoW. We all love it. Let's band together. Let's talk about things and move forward. So for anyone listening, what we would love to do is we'd love to have some time that we would like to answer community questions and things like that. We have a Twitter page at WoW Reckoning Hour. Hour had to be abbreviated to HR, so just WoW Reckoning HR, and post your questions on there. And we're going to be moving forward from that. We're going to be looking at doing a podcast every week. Next week will be about 715 and our take onto that and some of the changes and moves and kind of, you know, Brawlers Guild and everything that's going to be coming out. So we want to move into that and then move forward from there. So I want to thank everyone for listening today. I'd like to thank Brookz and Tom, for being here today and talking with me and going through this process. So I really appreciate it. And that's the WoW Reckoning Hour. So good night, and don't forget, stay calm, fly on.